What are the typical roles people get if they do masters in finance? Is the job market now improving? You feel like, is it getting better at all, or is it still like really rough?
So tuition's fee, I think George Washington is around 1,200 per credit.
Is there a lot of people in Brazil wanting to study in United States?
Doing the math here, it's going to be around, I don't know, $75,000. But I got a scholarship.
I know MPOWER does both education, like you obviously they will help with the tuition fees, but remaining money that you can also use for cost of living if you need to.
$2,000 per month.
$2,000 a month? That is a lot. How is it possible that you are able to do internship even within 12 months of the program?
If you're not having class during summer, you are allowed to work full time.
Thank you, Thiago, for doing this. I think I'm meeting you after like a year and a half ish. So I'm excited to meet you again. This time virtual, though. I know I met you in person when we were in George Washington University. But again, for people who don't know you, let's do a quick intro. Who are you? When did you come to United States? And then where are you from? And what are you doing right now?
Sure. So thank you for the time, Yudi. Always a pleasure to talk with you and share a little bit about my experience. I'm originally from Brazil, from Rio, in fact. I moved to the US in the middle of 2023 to pursue a master in finance here at George Washington University.
Mm.
I've been in Washington since then, living here. So after I finished the master, I started to work for advisory company here at DC. And yeah, everything has been great. And as I mentioned, always a pleasure to talk with you and share a little bit about my experience.
Amazing. So obviously you did your master's program, master's in finance is only year long. If I remember right.
Yeah. So at GW, there is like two programs that you can choose. In fact, so when you have more experience, right? The regular program is a 2-year program with 4 semester between summer and fall. But when you have more experience, you can cut some credits and you can do a master in applied finance, which you can take in 12 months. So you have to study during summer, what's a little bit of an eye, but you can finish it faster.
Got it. Okay. And so you started in 2023, you graduated in 2024. At that time, the job market was extremely brutal. Like I think nobody was hiring international students, or very rare people were hiring, wanting to take a bet on international student. But despite of that, you actually still got the job. If I'm not wrong, what did you like? What are you working as right now?
I was able to close this agreement with this company. I've done an internship with them since the
Mm.
beginning of May.
Mm.
And after the internship, they made me a full time offer to start right after I finished the master.
Amazing. And what's the role called?
I'm a VP. I'm a VP of the company. It's a financial advisory company, so I'm working on my field,
Hmm.
and yeah, it has been very interesting so far.
So I didn't know that you were VP of financial advising. So maybe if you can help me understand what are the typical roles people get if they do masters in finance. What are the typical roles people get into? One would be financial advising, investment banking. What are some of these other roles and career paths?
So yeah, I think master. Well, when you study finance, it's kind of a broad field, right?
Mhm.
It will depends on your skills and also your interests. The program that I did has a lot of math involved. So if you want to do some more related with quant, you can pursue that. But basically, people from my program, they are working in financial institutions, banking, working, and there are like when we talk about banking, there is a very diversified field, right? You can go to international transactions, international market and advisor, as I'm doing. You can go to more mathematical modeling to try to project the market, or build some financial models to try to
Mm.
lead the market. And there are a lot of opportunity, and I again, it's a broad space. You are not like committed with one specific field. You can do a lot of different financial stuff after finishing the
Mm.
program.
Is the job market now improving? You feel like, is it getting better at all, or is it still like really rough?
Well, this is my personal opinion, right? I'm not a market expert, and like, but from my perspective, I don't think that it's improving right now. I think like companies and entrepreneurs are still trying to understand the macroeconomic environment to make investment, right? So hire some people, right? Employees, sorry, right? Employees is a medium and long term investment, even in the US, which is
Mm.
very easy to hire and to lay people off. And I think like the companies and the entrepreneurs are still trying to understand better the macroeconomic environment, so they can make sure their business strategy is the right one for this environment, and they can decide if they're going to invest or not.
Okay, got it. Amazing. I'm gonna take you back to Brazil. Let's say you were in Brazil. You had work experience. How long did you have work experience before you decided that you want to do masters?
So yeah, I think my personal case is a little bit different. I've been working for 10 years before I moved here to do this master. In fact, I've never thought about studying abroad.
Mm.
To be very honest. And when I got to this point, I thought I was a bit older for that and a bit further away in my career, since I had two C levels position. I had the experience abroad, but it was more a personal life decision. So my fiance, she received this full scholarship to study here at the US, and I saw this as an opportunity, right? An opportunity to move to the US to pursue a master here. I think it was a unique opportunity. I think there are great schools back in Brazil and great master programs in finance and also economics, which is a very correlated field. But I think stud here in the US in a foreign country, where is the center of the market, the center of the world for my market,
Mhm.
it was a unique opportunity, and I think I made the right choice.
Amazing. Got it. And just help me understand, because again, Indian market and Brazil market is slightly different when it comes to studying in United States. Uh, is there a lot of people in Brazil wanting to study in United States? Is there like a lot of study abroad or higher education in Brazil?
So Brazil is a big country,
Yeah.
and we have like people are in a different levels of wage. Unfortunately, that's part of what happens in Brazil. I'm sure that in India is kind of similar. And I would say that very wealthy people, they, especially in my field, they have this dream to study abroad, to
Mm.
pursue an MBA, and they will target Ivy League universities for sure. So that's the
Mm.
focus.
Got it.
So people with more condition that came with this, sometimes this goal from their families or their colleagues, right? And they will pursue this path of doing an MBA abroad as part of their career.
Mm. You are someone who haven't yet gotten the loan and looking for no collateral, no cosigner loan, then look no further. Empower can help you with exactly that. They are taking bet on you and your future potential. They don't need guarantor or collateral to give you the loan. And not just that, what I truly love about them, because I've partnered with them for last 2 years, they are truly about helping the international student community. And just for that, they also have this career accelerator program where you will get help help in your F1 visa interviews preparation. You'll also have 8-week long career boot camp. I mean, I'm going to be teaching 5-week long live sessions where we'll go through your co-op and internships and resume building and all of that. Not just that, you'll also have access to premium job hunting tools. And even once you land, you will have access to the community and they will help you in every single way because they are built by international students for international students. So again, I highly recommend check out, link will be in the description. And there's also scholarship, which even you don't even have to get their loan, but you can still apply for their scholarship. So I'll put that as well in the description. So check it out. And now I'll let you enjoy the craziness of the F1 visa interview. Okay. So how, now that you got the admit, you decided your guys are going, how was the F1 visa interview for you guys? Because it,
For me, my experience was very straightforward. To be really honest,
Mm,
I filed with the U.S. Consul in my city. Fortunately, there is a consul in my city, so I did not have to travel
well, yeah.
to do the interview. It took a few hours, to be really honest, because of like a lot of people going there for interviews at the same day. But
Mm.
once I got to the interview, it took me like less than 5 minutes. I think the US authority just asked me like two questions. So, which university I'm attending, which program I'm pursuing, and that was it.
Oh wow, but 5 minutes seems long for those two questions.
Yeah, no, it less than 5 minutes. It was very fast,
Very
like
fast. Okay,
two
okay, yeah.
minutes, you
And
know?
no question about who's funding you or anything like that, or who's sponsoring you.
No, no, because when we got to the interview, we have to present to them the I-20,
Mm-hmm.
which is a document that the university provide. And for the university to provide the I-20, you have to prove to the university how you're going to finance, well,
Interesting.
the
Yeah.
tuition and the minimal life cost during when you are here, right? And I had some files, some bank statements, and also a letter from MPOWER to support me financially during this process, but it wasn't required.
Got it. Okay. Well, and then so obviously you got the visa approved, and you guys started preparing for coming to United States. What is the cost of George Washington, like tuition fees, and maybe also do like a separate for cost of living?
So tuition's fee, I think George Washington is around 1,200 per credit,
Mm.
and my whole program, which is this, let's say, a smaller program which you can make in 12 months, it's 36 credits, right?
Wow.
So doing the math here, it's going to be around, I don't know, $75,000. But I got a scholarship
Mm.
because of my experience, and also because, well, the the FX rate at the moment, which the Brazilian reais was very depreciated at that point, which helped me to pay for the program.
Mm. So you said $75,000 is the was the tuition fees, but you had scholarship. How much? How did you get the scholarship, and how much was it?
The process to ask for the scholarship was very straightforward. So once I was approved, I've mentioned with the program that I would require a scholarship to come here to study. It will make my decision easier to go to George Washington. Uh,
That's amazing.
it could provide me some sort of help and support, um, and that was it. They It was 25% scholarship.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, and then cost of living. What's the cost? I mean, obviously DC is not like very expensive. I guess no, not
Yeah,
cheap.
this is very expensive city. It's not expensive as New York,
Yeah.
but it's not cheap. I would say you can live here on a budget while you are studying for $2,000 per month. Uh,
$2,000 a month. That is a lot. I'm assuming you had your own personal bedroom. Were you sharing the bedroom or like your apartment?
No, we have one bedroom apartment for me and my fiance. So we are sharing the
Oh,
apartment between both of us. Yeah.
gotcha. Okay. Yeah. And so in your case, because the course was 12 months, so that's 24 months, sorry, 24,000, and then, roughly another 75,000 with 25% scholarship, etc. And so you mentioned you got the loan from Empower. How was that process? Like, how did you find out about them? What was the process like?
So the process was very straightforward. Once I decided to come here to the US, and I was approved by George Washington, and they provide me a scholarship, I said, okay, now I have to figure out how I'm going to pay the rest of the tuition. I thought about like applying for some student loans in Brazil, but there isn't a specific line to study abroad. I know there
Mm,
are a few like companies in Brazil that provide student loans, but for you to pursue a study in Brazil, uh, and if I'm going to ask this in the big banks in Brazil, it was going to be treated as a personal loan, which the
mm,
interest rate would be
crazy
huge
high. Yeah.
considering the basic interest rate of the country. So I said, okay, let me see if I can apply for international loan. I start to search about this in the US, and it's not easy if you're not American or if
Mm,
you do not have an American cosigner, right?
mm,
You cannot apply for those kind of loans with big banks here in the US if you don't have a cosigner with a social security number. So first, I start to ask for friends that have studied here before, and then mention another company name. And from that, I did a Google research and I found Empower. And to be really honest, I applied for Empower and for this other company. With Empower, it was very straightforward. It was easy for me to supply them with all the required information and documentation so they could screen my credit and give me an answer.
mm.
With this competitor company, I couldn't like they couldn't finish the screening process
Oh my
because they
God.
were
Yeah.
requiring me a lot of information and a few
Mm,
files that even me that know a lot of finance, know about like credit in Brazil, I didn't know how to like how to scratch how to deliver to them the information that were required. So I kind of gave up with the process with them. They never finished my credit screening because I wasn't able to provide them all the information.
yeah.
And Empower gave me a reply very fast with a support letter so I could present to the
US
council.
consulate. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
for the visa.
And I know Empower does both education, like you, obviously they will help with the tuition fees, but remaining money that you can also use for cost of living if you need to.
Yeah, and I think that's an important piece, and was part of the process that I wasn't aware, right? So I don't know if all universities work like this, but my university, you have some sort of account with the university, right?
Mhm.
And they're gonna charge you in this account, and the money you have to wire the money to this account, so you can pay for your tuitions and you can pay for your health insurance and other bills with the university. What Empower do is they disburse to this account to the university, and after you pay for your tuitions and all the obligations you have with the university, if there is any any surplus, sorry, you can transfer this amount to your account, which can help you to pay for well your rent or your
Mhm.
food or your books, right?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. And that's helpful because I know a lot of students rely on getting an on campus job, but what if you don't get it? So at least you have this as a backup option.
Yeah, yeah, and that's really helpful, especially when you have 10 years to repay, right?
Mm.
I
Yeah.
think this is especially right now. I know that sometimes it's hard to have like a 10 years obligation
Yeah.
that you have to pay, but you always can prepay with no penalty, which is
Yes.
always good, right?
Good.
So I kind of like I kind of deal with this student loan as an insurance, let's say like this. So I found a job here. I'm starting to building my savings in dollars,
Mhm.
and I could repay some part of my loan at any point I want, but I want to make some savings in dollars to prepare for some
Yeah.
complicated moments. We never know what's going to happen, especially in this economy. So I can take longer to repay for my student loans if I want. If I have the savings and I can prepay, well, there is no penalty to do so. So it kind of work as an insurance and give you more time to pay for this big bill, which is well,
Yeah.
a student tuition.
Yes, 100%. I like that approach a lot. And I think you did the right choice. So let's go to George Washington. You became a student after 10 years of working. How was that transition from working for 10 years to now studying?
Yeah, it was amazing, I would say.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's like I think it's a different sort of pressure.
Mm,
Being at school again, real life is tougher. And I think when you experience a lot of pressure in the work environment, the pressure that you have in academic field, I think you can deal better with that. Um, so I kind of enjoy. I like the subject, which also make it easier. I'm
mm,
very curious about finance, and the exchange with the university and the teacher was great. With also the cohort that I had, which is I think George Washington was like one of the top universities with international students. So I had the opportunity to know. I had the opportunity to know different cultures and different people, and that was an amazing experience. Yeah,
yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean,
I have
typically.
friends from China, from Middle East, from Saudi, from Azerbaijan.
Mm,
I've never heard about Azerbaijan before coming here to this program. I'm glad now I have a friend that lives there. So.
yeah, that's amazing. A lot of diversity. But yeah, like I think I was surprised because typically when you work, like I've been now working for 8 years in the tech industry, and if I have to go back to school, it would be a little challenging for me because I'm like, I already know a lot of how the industry works, how the tech works, how the products are built, and if I have to like go back and study, I think that transition would be harder, but also refreshing at the same point of time because like you, like you said, real life is more tougher than the college and education because it's a lot more in your control and things like that. So I like that perspective as well.
Yeah, like of course you have to deal with going back to study and like eat a book in 1 week, right? But I would say that it's easier to deal with a fiction case that you download and you have to figure out how to fix it. I would say that like I even try a lot to figure out how I can fix a problem in a different ways and discuss solutions with my friend.
Hmm.
It's much easier to do that when you're doing theoretically than when you're doing practice and your final decision can be the right one and you're gonna be great and you're gonna be very happy, or it can be the wrong one and you have to deal with the consequences and figure out how we're gonna fix this new problem, right?
Yep. Yeah. 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 Exactly. Did you end up having an on-campus job, or how is on-campus job market in George Washington? Like, is there a lot of on-campus? I did you do it? Did you not do it?
I did not do it. I know that there are a few opportunities. I wasn't looking for that, to be really honest. I was 100% focused to find a job in my field. I knew I had 12 months to do so. And and yeah, but I know that George Washington provide a few opportunities of on-campus job for the ones who
Hmm.
want it.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned you had an internship. So how is it possible that you are able to do internship even within 12 months of the program?
Yeah, so that's a good question. And that's another thing that I wasn't aware before moving here. So when you are foreign students like coming here for the first time to study in the US, you cannot work doing your first 2 semesters, right? Be- Well, until you
Yeah.
finish the. So if you start at the fall, you cannot work before you finish the spring.
Correct.
They usually say your first year,
Yeah.
but the academic year ends in May, not
Yes.
in August. So
Correct.
what happens is after I finish my spring semester, and I was starting my last semester doing summer, I was allowed to work part time. I
Mm.
wasn't allowed to work full time because
Mm.
I was still doing classes during summer. But
Mm.
yeah, I could work at that
Yeah,
during.
and just for clarity for people who are watching, what Tiago is saying is you are not allowed to work off campus. You are still allowed to do 20 hours on campus, but if you want to do outside your campus, you're not allowed for the first academic year. In this case, fall semester, spring semester, and then summer started. You could start if you get an internship, you can do it, but it has to be related to your job, or sorry, to your education. You can't just go to McDonald's and start working. So that's another caveat. Yeah.
Yeah, and good that you mentioned that, Judy, to clarify. And just another point that I think it's important as well. So if you're not having class during summer, you are allowed to work full time, right?
Mm, mm,
So you cannot work full time while you are in class.
mm.
So in my case, I was in class during summer, so
Yeah.
I could only do part time. But I know there are other programs that you have your summer free, and if you choose to do an internship and you are not having class, you can do work in your field of study out of campus for 40 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. What would be your biggest advice for students from Brazil want to get internship? Like, what's your biggest advice? Like, okay, this is what worked for me. This is what like you can do, and what would you tell them?
I would say try to move your network.
Mm,
I'm sure that even though you never like put your feet at the US, I'm sure that you probably have connections that know someone here, someone that can contact you for someone in here. So try to work your network to know people here. Try to know people here like through the university, through yourself. Write to them in LinkedIn. Don't be shy. You have to put the feet on the street, try to like know people, talk with them, ask about the experience, research about companies. And I think like you should uh, use the experience at full. Like you have to expose yourself. There is
mm.
only way to find an internship and to find an opportunity here in the US. You have to expose yourself, talk with as many people as you can, and tell them like
But
what
where
you
do
know.
you find these people? You can't just go on the street and randomly start talking. So, where do you find the people?
Well, I would say that first, try to attend universities' events.
Mm, yeah.
Universities usually do a lot of a campus fair to introduce companies to students. Well, if you are interested in some fields, I'm sure that you can do some research and know companies that has opportunity in your field of work. And I think nowadays we have a tool that's that's a professional network that's called LinkedIn, where you can search you can
Yes.
search people there, write to them, send a lot of code message. That's very common in the US. So again, if I can give a tip, it's like don't be shy. Uh,
Mm.
you're
Is
gonna
it common in Brazil? People are a little more shy and introverted. Like they would not do this in general.
I don't think people shy in Brazil. I think culturally you can be different. Like I'm from a different generation. LinkedIn wasn't here when I was starting to work in Brazil, but I don't think I would feel back at the time completely comfortable to send a cold message in LinkedIn.
Oh
But I
wow.
can say that's very common here in the US. A lot of people experience that,
Yeah,
and
and I'm assuming, hoping that after listening to you, people who are watching, they will find out Thiago, and I'll will put your LinkedIn also, and they'll be like, "Hey, Thiago, I'm sending you this cold message, and I'm in DC, or
Happy to talk with them. I've already chat with a few people that send me code messages in LinkedIn. I've been there, so as much as can help, I will be happy. I
Mm,
know it's not easy to find a job. It requires a lot of effort. You have to be like very resilient. It's tough, but you have to keep going. You have
yeah.
to keep going. You're
Yeah.
gonna have good and bad days. And when I say like don't be shy, it's because of a personal experience. So I'm more introverted person, and when you are in a foreign country speaking a different language, even though you have some confidence that you can like communicate, expose yourself to try to know someone new that you don't know how open they will be
Mm,
about you and to share the experience with you and willing to help you and talk with you. You can be some sort of like scared and maybe decide not to take the step. So if I can give a tip, is like be bold
yeah.
and do it. You don't
Yeah.
have time to lose. And even though you're not gonna find what you want from this conversation, at least you're going to be a more experienced person, a more resilient person. And the next conversation you're gonna have, the next message you're gonna send,
Mm.
well, you do it better.
100%. I cannot agree enough. Like, this is so true. And anybody who's watching, either from Brazil or from any country, you guys are watching this, this is very common. That's what we call it networking. But big disclaimer and a caution and a caveat: you will not hear back a lot of time, so you have to make sure that your cold message is also related to what you're sending, right? So if you're sending message to Thiago, after this he's going to be extremely popular, will get millions of views, who knows? Right? And how do you stand out if everybody's doing it? So you have to be like, okay, Thiago mentioned about fiance, he mentioned about the finance, he mentioned about the VP, all these things. So now when you message him, make it creative and make it customize it to this, like, hey Thiago, you mentioned about these things, it really resonated me. I'm also from Rio, and maybe use some Portuguese word, and like that is where you'll get his attention. So like customize it to your, like, when you're trying to do networking. Don't just do a cookie cutter, meaning everybody copy pasting the same message kind of thing. Would you agree, Thiago?
No, 100%. Like, don't ask ChatGPT to do you a message so you can send a cold call to someone in LinkedIn, because ChatGPT was going to be very broad,
Yeah.
and we not got those people's attention. So another advice I can give is like LinkedIn allowed you. Let's say you found a company that you want to work. Uh, LinkedIn allowed you to go to that company, and you can like go for people that work at the company. You can see where they stood, where they are from, if they are connect with you in a first, second, or third level. So try to find some point of connection. So what I used to do when I was looking for a job is like I went for a company that I want to work, and I start to search. Okay, how many people are here from Brazil? Which of them work in the department that I want to work? Does any of them like went to the same university as I did back home, or they are from my city, or like I had an experience abroad before, so I had the opportunity to work in another foreign university in Colombia. So maybe I can find some connections from there. So try to find some points of connection so you can like link with that person, right? So if you write to me and you know me from this podcast, just mention that. I will
Mm,
understand where your message is coming from.
yeah.
It's better than a random message for sure. But again, it will always depend on the person on the other side,
Yeah.
and also the moment that the person is living, right? I try to be as open as I can to have this conversation, but maybe it's a great person on the other end, but they are very busy. The person is
Mm,
very busy; he cannot reply at that
mm,
moment at his life. So go for the other one, and as you mentioned, Yudi, like a lot of them is not going to reply, and you just have to keep going because
yes.
at the end you just need like the yes that
Mm,
you want. I
yes.
would not say like just one yes because you not should take anything,
Yeah.
but You just need the US yes that you want. You don't need all of the yeses.
Yes, 100%. Love it. And in your case, for the internship, how did you end up getting it? Like, was it through cold messages, networking, or was it through applying online?
It was through networking.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was a person that I used to work before coming here to George Washington. He started to work for this company which had the headquarters here at DC, and he introduced me to the president of the company, and also I had a coffee with the president and also another managing director, and we got an agreement to start this internship with them.
Amazing. Yeah. And see, that's another, at least culture perspective. Like, president of the company would just go on a coffee date as well. Like, it's not, at least it's not so common in India. So I don't know about Brazil, like if people do that or not. So don't be shy to go on coffee, asking for like, hey, I would love to do like get a coffee with you or lunch with you, things like that.
Yeah, the worst you can have is a no from someone that you don't know, and you are not committing a crime. You are just being like a curious person. So
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, and what about cultural differences? Did you have, so obviously you worked 10 years in Brazil and then you worked now in United States. Is there a big culture difference you noticed? And if so, what are they?
yes, there are. I wouldn't say that big different culture. Well, so in Brazil, usually when you go to work, like you work with a team, and sometimes there is kind of a mix between personal and professional life,
Yeah.
and like your professional team and your working colleagues start to being like friends, and you start to build like this sort of family at work. It's not the case at the US. US culture is very straightforward. So you are here to work. You are not here to make friends, and that's kind of it. So people come, people will not be chatting with you while they go to the bathroom or they gonna grab some coffee. They are there to work.
Mm.
Well, you're gonna say hello, you're gonna say goodbye, but you're not going to stop some. They are not going to stop something they are doing to like chat with you for 5 minutes and ask how your weekend was. They will just like say hi, hello, how are you, and doing their stuff.
Yeah.
So don't expect to like. I do have some friends from work, but it's a different friendship, and it's not a friendship that works while I'm working. It's going to happen like in happy hours, after
Mm.
hours, or in a
Mm.
different environment, but
Yeah.
not at the office in the working hours.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I think they respect the boundaries over here as well. Like, again, 9 to 5. So they will respect that, okay, now you have a family life. Will not disturb you unless there's an emergency and they need to bring you in or something like that, which is also like, at least it's a difference for us. When I say us, meaning India versus United States in terms of work culture.
Yeah, yeah, no, and and you just have to adapt yourself.
Yeah.
I would say that for a Brazilian, it's not that difficult. At least wasn't for me. You just have to understand how the environment is and what you should expect from that,
Yeah.
and you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, awesome. If you could go back in time, go back in 2023, and now that, but you have all this knowledge of like how United States work, how all these job tips and everything. What would you do differently? Would you do anything differently because now you understand, or would you be like, nope, I think it's pretty good?
I think there are a lot of things that I would do different. Not only this experience. Life is a learning process, and
Yeah.
if you're saying that wouldn't you wouldn't do anything different, well, congrats. I'm not that kind of person. Uh, for sure, I would start doing that work like back in Brazil. I would
Mm,
arrive here like having a few coffee schedules, like even if it was with like teachers from my program.
mm,
I think it's a very as we talked here, like it's not an easy process to find a job and connect with people here in the US. So you have to start as soon as possible, and being a foreign person, like you can have a great English and be very confident with that and like what you can bring to the table. That wasn't my case. So I was shy at the beginning. I was insecure about like how I'm going to approach this person. Like I'm making this person losing their time. What I'm bringing new for them, right?
Mm.
So this kind of stopped me at the beginning. So if what I could, what I would do different is like right from the beginning, exposure myself, have many
Mm.
coffee as I can, try to connect with people. I think there is always something that you can bring to the table, and there is always something that you can learn. Don't miss that. Like, doesn't matter who you are. I think there is always something that you can bring to the table to other person. So don't be shy to approach them, and don't be shy if you are insecure about your English and about other stuff. Just do it.
Yeah, amazing. Love it. Finally, would you recommend Empower to other students from Brazil who are planning to come to United States?
I would, for sure. I've never had a different credit experience with other enterprise, so I cannot compare. But I can definitely say that so far my experience with Empower was great. Since the approval process and the disbursement process to the university, so it was very straightforward. There was no headache from my end, and the repayment process is very straightforward as well. So Empower use an outsourced company to collect
Mm.
the monthly payments, and the app is great. You are well informed before your due date, and definitely I would recommend that.
Amazing. Cool. All right. And any final words of wisdom, advice for students who are planning to come thinking about studying to United States?
Uh, so that's a tough one, Yudi. I think there are a lot of things we could share here, but prepare. Make sure you are making a good decision. That this is something that you want to pursue,
Mm.
and make sure that you are financially prepared for that as well,
Mm.
because tuition is not cheap. Living cost is not cheap, and this can be a headache, I would say.
Mm.
So uh, happily, I was very prepared for that, but I know that that can be annoying
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Um,
can take you the focus out, right? I think the focus is come here to like pursue a good education, and depending on the people, like find a job afterwards or not. But like financial stuff can take you out of the focus, which is important for you.
yeah. Can you do the same advice in Portuguese? Even though I would not understand it, but I will make sure you don't say anything bad about me.
Of course. Se eu pudesse dar alguma dica para quem vai fazer estudar, quer estudar nos Estados Unidos, eu diria para você, bom, ter certeza desse movimento. Acho que é um grande comprometimento que você tá fazendo na sua vida. Acho que é uma grande oportunidade de você é, encontrar e ter uma educação de grande qualidade, mas também é um grande comprometimento financeiro. Então, tenha certeza que você está preparado financeiramente para dar esse passo, para você poder focar no que realmente importa, que é buscar uma educação de qualidade e, eventualmente, um trabalho depois disso. Mas tenha certeza que você esteja preparado financeiramente para dar esse passo, porque a tuition é cara, o custo de vida é caro, e se isso acabar sendo uma questão para você, você vai acabar perdendo o foco do que realmente importa.
Mm. You promise you didn't say anything bad about me, right?
Have you heard your name?
Yeah, I did not, but who knows? I'll,
I know there are a lot of AIs that you know nowadays, which you can translate what I said. So
yeah, yeah,
you
and
can
hopefully
double check.
people are watching and they'll say like, Yudi, he did say this thing about you. But amazing, thank you, Thiago, for sharing your journey. This was very insightful, and I know people will reach out. Hopefully, they'll reach out to you, and I'm sure you'll be kind enough to help them as well. But again, thank you so much for doing this. Super grateful for this conversation, and can't wait to do this again. Thiago, thank you so much for doing this, and I will be back in DC very soon. But until our next one.
Keep smiling and keep hustling.
Nice. Okay, great.